What is up, everybody? I'm George Mossey. Say hi to my co-host Cherona. So, Darcey and Stacey season 4, episode 5 has aired, and we have a lot to talk about because Darcey has been dealing with Michelle, who is a kind of harsh matchmaker, and Michelle has been leading up to a date. Now, we almost got to the date. Well, we did get to the date, but I want to talk about what happened before the date. So, Michelle shows up at Darcey's apartment, and Michelle has to approve the outfit that Darcey wears on a date. So this is a pretty serious and intense matchmaking service because I was under the impression you send them some information about you and some pictures and they send you a man or a woman. Michelle goes on house calls and she wanted to make sure that Darcey was dressed appropriately in appropriate attire for the type of man he wants to attract. So let's talk about Darcey's outfits of choice. So Darcey has some assets that we all know about, right? Two in the front, in the back too. Darcey has some assets and she likes to show them off. And Darcey wears clothing that a lot of people would consider revealing. I guess in Michelle's words, she called them hoe attire, hoeing. But Darcey did not feel that way. She's like, I'm not hoeing, I don't go hoeing. Why would you even go there? So they compromised on an outfit. It was a shirt that was pretty open, and then they put like a brooch on it and tried to close it, but the booze were trying to, that brooch was holding on for dear life because they were trying to come out, but she made Darcey put a jacket over it. And Darcey looked great. Darcey always looks great.
Yeah.
But she wants Darcey to attract a certain type of man. So we met Cicero, who is a professional real estate successful man with 2 daughters. And he is, the type of man that she feels is right for Darcey. He's going to treat her right. He has his life in order. He has morals, he has standards, and he's not interested in anything that Darcey can do for him because whatever she could do for him, he could do for himself. So I do feel like Michelle did a good job. So is her service a little unorthodox? like the way that she says things, calling people hoes and coming to their house, like it's a little unorthodox. Going to the park and cat people, they graded each other and they both wanted to continue the date. So Michelle, whatever you're doing, I'm not questioning it because it's working.
Yes, I mean, poor Darcey. Why she gotta call my girl a hoe? I mean, Darcey always wants to look her best, and I think that like Michelle doesn't understand Darcey. I mean, Darcey's
Yes.
young at heart. The girl's like 22 in her mind. She's living her best life, and I get that. But like, I don't know. I feel like it was they tried to stay in. It didn't really work, but the
No.
blazer, she still looked really put together to me. And the girl paid a lot of money to look that good. So, I mean, she gonna flaunt it. I mean, who wouldn't? So, I mean, I'm really glad that that date went so well. And I'm so glad that this guy is someone that's on her level. Like, she's
Yep.
not going to have to take care of someone again. I feel like they could really be a power couple because they both have everything that they need and want in their lives already. They
Yep.
just need the partners to complement each other. So I think this could be a really good match for Darcey. And I feel like we saw the very like cute, soft side of her, and we didn't see her trying to impress or like go over the top. Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I feel like sometimes women when they're trying to date a younger man, they feel like they have to almost impress them. So we
Yeah.
didn't see that part of her. We saw like the true, genuine, sweet Darcey. So I really was like, I'm here for it.
I love seeing her just relax and be pampered, just have him talk to her and learn about her, pay attention to her. And I like that. And he was like, he looked at her Instagram. He's like, why are you use filters? You look great. Like, you don't need that. And I just like to see that. She just felt comfortable. And that's what
Mhm.
I want for her. All right. So Florian opens up to Stacey and he finally tells us why he wants Georgie to be his best man. And it is actually something that I can understand. So Florian lost his sister last year to cancer,
Mhm.
who is very, very close in his life. Like I didn't realize how close he and his sister were. And the idea that she is no longer there and he has to go through this wedding without anyone from his family, no one from his home country being there, he feels completely alone. And then we have to remember Florian was living in Connecticut and he did have a life in Connecticut. He had friends and he had things going on. And then they uprooted him and moved him to Miami. So he moved cross country. He moved to Connecticut. Then he moved to Miami. There's a lot of loss and change. And he wants something that is familiar. Georgie is familiar. And Georgie, also being an immigrant from another country, they kind of connect on a deeper level. So I understand. Stacey understands. But you know who's not going to understand? Darcey's not
Darcey.
gonna get it. She's not gonna get it. She's gonna be like, you're wrong for that. And we're gonna talk about that later. So I want to jump in and talk about this cake testing. So Florian and Stacey decide to take Darcey on a cake testing of what do you call it? Event, outing with them. Yeah. So they're trying wedding cakes, which we learned. I mean, probably not you. I learned that wedding cakes can be up to $10,000. Holy crap! I didn't know that. Like when I go to the grocery store, they sell cakes for like $30. So like I had no clue that people were paying this much money. And even Florian said he's like, this is a lot of money for a cake. And Darcey had a little comment. She was like, Florian, this is expensive. She's a beautiful wedding. You got to get a job, and they were kind of going back and forth with each other. And then another comment happened when Darcey offered to pay for some of the cake. And he was like, well, it would be a twin wedding if you could find a man. And they were kind of going back and forth. And the tension is just really high between Darcey and Florian. I didn't realize that they had such tension until this episode, because I thought the tension was mostly between Darcey and Stacey. But Florian is really on edge with Darcey because he feels Darcey's attacking him and bringing up the job situation. And we watched Darcey leave early to just avoid the situation, which I thought was good because they needed to separate themselves. And I learned in this episode that Florian is actually listening to people, because we know Michael Benz told him, you need to get a job. Darcey told him, you need to get a job. And we watched him go to a modeling agency and try to get a job. So at this point, I believe that Florian is actually trying to do that. And at first, I didn't believe that he was. I thought that he was comfortable and he was just doing what he wanted to do during the day, which I'm not sure what it is. But he did go to the modeling agency and they kind of destroyed him and tore him apart. They said that he had no personality, he needed a tan, he didn't have any professional photos. And they kind of went through the list of everything wrong. And that was kind of hard. And he was like, this isn't going well. And he didn't really expect those type of harsh comments. So I don't know. What do you think is going to happen? Because they said he wouldn't get booked. And I thought that Florian was already getting booked. So I'm like kind of confused.
Yeah, I felt that way too. I felt like maybe they were just like super, super harsh, because I get what they were saying. Like, everyone in Miami's beautiful, everyone in Miami's buff, everyone in Miami's tan. And they didn't really like him, I guess. I mean, he has a different demeanor, but it's also because he's not from this country. So, sometimes people from other countries can come off a little bit more cold. And there's a language barrier. So he's not like, yes, he understands what they're saying, but it's different. But yeah, I thought he was already a model when he was in Albania. So now I'm real confused. And I thought that the people were like really mean to him. I feel like that kind of just like ruined his confidence.
They were very judgmental. I mean, I've never modeled before, but I've known people who have, and they've told me it's very cutthroat and it's not for sensitive or, warm-hearted people. I have heard that. I've heard that people say they tear you down, basically what happened there. And I just wonder if he's ready to model here, because I know he modeled, like you said, in Albania. Is he ready to do it here? And if so, they were like, you got to invest in yourself. And I was like, the last thing Stacey and Darcey are going to want to hear is that he needs to go and spend thousands of dollars on photos to get a job. I was like, that's literally the opposite they're going to want to hear. So he does not going to want to tell anybody about that conversation, because the last thing that they're going to want to hear is, wait, so you can get a job if we give you 10 grand? Like, no, what is this? Is this some sort of Craigslist thing? Like, no, that's not happening.
Yeah, I think Florian, maybe he might have to switch careers, which he will not like. But just for the time being, I feel like he could try to find something else while he, save up money so he doesn't have to ask Stacey to pay for him to get headshots and, I don't know, new abs or whatever the heck these people want.
I don't know.
I don't know. The tan, I don't know.
I feel like people who are in great shape can automatically just be a personal trainer, because it's easy for you to convince someone that you can train them if you look great. So even if you're not even into fitness, because they're going to look at you and be like, well, I want to look like you. You obviously did this. So they would pay you. So I always tell people who are in good shape, I'm like, just be a personal trainer. People will pay you just because you already look good. So they assume that you know how to make it happen. So go and do that, and then save up. And I don't know how much money he could save before this wedding, because the wedding is already in process, and we're talking about like $100,000 and more. So I don't know how much he can make in that short amount of time. I don't know how much would satisfy Stacey. Like, if he handed her 10 grand, would she be cool with that? Like, I'm not sure, but he could do it. I want him to do it. So it's Florian's birthday, and they go to LA, and Florian goes to see Disneyland. He called it something else, like the Topolino, but I think that
Yeah.
was like the Albanian language version of Mickey Mouse. So they go there to celebrate his birthday. The girls go to House of 11 corporate, and they find out that the prototypes, which actually look really good, I would wear the hoodie. The hoodie looks good, and if the pants
So
match,
cute.
and I liked it. I was like, I would wear that, but they only had the neutral colors in.
I
So
know.
Johnny Mac specifically requested the colors, like the blue, the red, the yellow, the green, which had not come in. So I'm really hoping that they can put a rush order on wherever they're coming from or whatever, because they only had 4 weeks, and they didn't give us a clear timeline of when this was. So I'm wondering if they only have like a week or less at this point, because they're about to leave LA. So I'm like, where the hell are the samples for this Impossible Kicks collaboration? Because this is really important. Like, this is really important. Like, I need this to get done. I know it's not my business, but I want to see this happen. I want to see it happen for them. So fingers crossed, we're going to see the right samples in front of Johnny Mac for this second meeting, because I'm sure after the second time around, he might just say it's not going to work. Like, he might feel that way.
Let's just hope they get together, because the jumpsuit is so cute, but I mean, I would love to see it in colors, because I'm in California and we love bright colors. Like, it's back, we're about to go into spring. Like, it's perfect.
Yeah, I like the brighter colors. It reminded me of the older brand Affliction when I saw it.
Yeah.
I was like, it reminded me a lot of Affliction, and I was
Yes.
like, it's only because of the color. So if they could change it into a lighter color, it wouldn't give me that feel. So
Yeah.
let's talk about the situation right at the end of the episode where Florian decided to, Stacey feels because he had some liquid courage, reveal to Darcey and Michael Benz that the best man of the wedding is Georgie, and it wasn't the right time. But you know what? I'm going to say this. It's never going to be the right time. So I'm not going to fault him for that, because Florian, the right time would just, I guess, be at the wedding when Georgie walks in and Darcey sees him. That would be the best time. So there's absolutely nothing she can do about it, because any other time is going to be the wrong time. So he tells her that Georgie is the best man, and Darcey feels like betrayed. Not only betrayed, but like almost like stabbed in the back, because she's like, you're going to have this man and I walk down the aisle knowing the situation that transpired between us. And even Stacey was like, I understand why he's doing it, but I can't justify it to my sister. She's never going to feel the same way. So even Stacey said, she's like, why are we even having this wedding? Because Florian is like, it's my wedding. I can do what I want. And I'm going to throw this in there. Florian, it's not your wedding. You're an invited guest. The wedding belongs to Stacey. It's for her. It's her day. You're lucky she's even letting you show up and be in the pictures, because this is all about Stacey. So don't get that in your head that this is your day, because Stacey is just, she's out of the kindness of her heart allowing you to participate in this day.
Very true. But yeah, I think the most awkward part is that it was supposed to be a twin wedding with Stacey and Florian getting married and Darcey and Georgie getting married, and now they're the best man and the maid of honor. That is so awkward. Like, they're literally living what they were supposed to do without getting married. Like, I get where Florian's coming from, because for some reason they're friends now, but what the heck? He could have asked Michael Benz. I know they don't really have a great friendship. Maybe he wouldn't ask him. But I mean, I feel like that would have been a better choice than Georgie. I don't know. I really hope that Darcey brings that guy, the guy that she went on a date with, and they have a great time, and Georgie's upset because, sorry, Georgie, but you're gone.
Anyone, Cicero, anyone, literally any man standing on the street at the day of the wedding. Just bring anybody, literally, that would be fine. All right, guys, that's all the time we have. So we are still waiting to see Stacey and Florian's amazing wedding, which we're going to see this season. So make sure you're joining me and my co-host Cherona to watch that in the future. Make sure you're on all social media platforms at George Mossey, georgemossey.com, and anywhere you get your podcast. And make sure you're following my co-host Cherona. Her links are at the bottom, TikTok and Instagram. This is the George Mossey Show, and we'll talk to all of you guys really soon.